Hi guys, today we're doing section 1.5, variables and expressions. A variable, very simply, is a symbol, usually a letter, but not always, that represents one or more numbers. Examples of common variables that you're going to find are x, y, z, but there is no reason that a variable has to be a letter. Your variable can be a circle, it can be a triangle, your variable can even be a stick figure. It really doesn't matter as long as your variable is a symbol and it represents one or more numbers. So, what does that look like? Well, usually you're going to see an expression like this. You're going to see x equals 6. And all that's telling you is whenever you see the letter x in a number sentence, you're going to replace it with the number 6. And we call that a variable expression. A variable expression is very simply a number sentence that has a variable somewhere inside it. So an example of that is going to be 4 plus x equals, and then we need to solve for the question mark. Now when we're using this variable expression, we can't add 4 plus x, but we do know from this part right up here that x is equal to 6. So our first step when we're using a variable expression is going to be to rewrite our variable expression and replace the variable, which is x here, with the value it equals. So when I rewrite it, I'm going to write 4 plus 6 equals, and then we're all set. We can easily answer this because 4 plus 6 equals 10. So there you have an example of a variable and a variable expression. Now that's a very simple one. When we're working with variables and variable expressions, we might find ourselves with more than one variable in the same sentence, in the same variable expression. So for this situation, I'm going to show you we have x equals 4. Now notice, last time x was equal to 6, but now it's equal to 4. The reason is, every time the variable might change. You might use x to equal 6 one time, the next time it might be 4, the next time it might be 138. X will stay the same in each variable expression, but when it goes to a new variable expression, it may mean something completely different. So for our first variable, we're going to have x equals 4, and for my next variable, I'm going to have stick figure equals 2. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to have my variable expression of x plus stick figure equals question mark. So I have to solve for this. The first step, I'm going to go ahead and take my variables and replace them with the values they equal. X is 4, stick figure is 2, and so I'm going to go ahead and solve for that, and I find that 4 plus 2 equals 6. See guys, working with variables is just that simple. Now you may notice something confusing. We're using x now, and x is a very common variable, but x also looks a lot like our multiplication symbol. So if I have x equals 3, you don't want to see over here x times x equals question mark. It's not really clear what's going on. So when we're using variable expressions, we're going to write multiplication in a brand new way. In fact, there are 3 ways we're going to show multiplication, and none of them are going to be that little x in the middle. Let's work with the variable of x. So the first way to show multiplication is using a multiplication dot. If I'm going to multiply 3 times x, I'm going to draw a little dot in the middle there, and that is going to show me that 3 times x is written by 3 dot x. That's called a multiplication dot. The second way is using parenthesis. In this situation, I'm going to show 3 with an x in parenthesis. Now, anytime you have a variable next to something in parentheses or something in parentheses next to a variable, what that's going to show you, and that's going to mean, is that you're going to multiply whatever's in the parentheses times whatever's right next to it outside the parentheses. The final way to show this is going to be with no symbol, and that's just writing 3x. So whatever x is equal to is going to be multiplied by the number directly next to it. So guys, we have three brand new ways to use multiplication with our variables: the multiplication dot, the parenthesis, and using no symbol at all. So let's show you an example of this with numbers right now. If all of a sudden I assign a value to x and x equals 2, then 3.x is going to be 3.2. So I'm going to replace the x with a 2. 3 times 2 is 6. I'm going to switch colors because that's a little hard to see. And then again, I have 3 with the x in parenthesis, which is the same as 3 parenthesis 2. Again, equal to 6. And here I have 3 times 2. Now that's not going to become 32. And you would never just put two numbers next to each other. They're confusing. You only do this when it's a variable. So here I have 3 times 2 again, and that's equal to 6. So guys, we learned about variables, we learned about variable expressions. They're really simple to work with, and here you have three brand new ways to do multiplication. So keep those in mind and have a great day.